This is the second time now the Packers have almost made me look really smart. I took them against the Rams on the road. Everyone thought I was crazy. It was a 2-point game, and they had a lead. I took them against Seattle on the road on a Thursday where road defenses get slaughtered, and they had a lead, and they lose by a field goal. And in both cases, they lost those games because Rodgers didn't get the ball back. And I'm telling you right now, if he gets the ball back in either one of those games, I guarantee you he wins those games. The thing that is amazing about Aaron Rodgers is that 57-yard throw. That's not luck. Other guys do that sometimes. Rodgers does that every single time. He's scrambling. He's throwing off the wrong foot. He's throwing into a tight window, and he throws it to where only the receiver has a chance to make a play on the ball. He did it against Arizona to try to get them in the playoffs. So they were gunning for the playoffs a couple of years ago. They call it back. He makes the same play again. Both times, only the receiver can get the ball 57 yards down. He's just unlike anything that has ever existed. And because of him, you always have a shot. And even when they go to Minnesota on the road, I don't see any game on their schedule where I say, oh, that's a loss. Not even a single game. I think they can win. The closest one where you go, is the Vikings on the road. But damn it, if I'm the Vikings and I see Aaron Rodgers coming desperate, I'm scared. I'm thinking, uh-oh, Rodgers is coming desperate. Cardinals, and then you have a real problem picking against them. For even the Bears on the road, that's not like, oh, definitely the Bears win that game. I don't see any game on that schedule where you're like, the Packers can't win that game. And because of Aaron Rodgers, damn it, the other year he needed to win 8 straight to make the playoffs. He goes, we're going to win out. And did it. I'm not counting them out.
As this team has continued to not progress the way it should, as far as how the rest of the roster is built around it, what's happened? Here come the Vikings, and here come the Bears. And the Bears in particular, the Bears are going to win this division. Just book it.
Bears are good.
The Bears are going to win the division. The problem with Aaron, though, is kind of like these spectacular plays that you and Stephen A. talk about and everyone talks about so often. It's become too much of that to me. And I wonder why that is. Is that because the structure of the offense is such that Aaron doesn't feel as though he can really play within structure and get the kind of results that he wants to? Is it because he doesn't respect Mike McCarthy? Is it because there's a number of different questions I have with that, and I think what that leads me to believe is this: a change is coming. And I don't like predicting those kind of things. I don't like talking about those kind of things. I've known Mike McCarthy since I was 18, 19 years old. He was at the University of Pittsburgh when I was there in college a long time ago. So I know this man and respect this guy. But this is a football team, there's no question. Every year they seem to be somehow trying to fix a fatal flaw with their organization or with their roster. It was secondary play. Now it's pass rush. Now it's from a fundamental standpoint. It's why don't they run the football more with Aaron Jones? People are talking about maybe this is where Le'Veon Bell should ultimately go. Look, you shouldn't be having to talk about these kind of sweeping big picture things every year when you have a pillar like you have with Aaron. And that to me is what ultimately leads to change. And as far as this year is concerned, it's over. It's a two-team race in the NFC North. It's between the Vikings and the Bears.
Louis, and this is for you too, Stephen A. This is the way I see Aaron Rodgers. And when Molly and people who have the same opinion as Molly make the Brady argument, essentially to me that's the Duncan versus Kobe argument. Kobe is the greatest bad shot maker of all time and a 5-time champion. But sometimes people say, Kobe, you'd have been even better if you made it a little easier for yourself sometimes. That's Aaron Rodgers. Tim Duncan was the perfect fundamental player with the greatest coach ever. And those who argue Duncan over Kobe say, yeah, but he won just as much, and he maybe did it with less around him. But that's a little unfair because he had that coach, although Kobe did have Phil Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with McCarthy is not Kobe with Phil Jackson or Duncan with Popovich. He's Kobe with some other coach. Right? Yeah. Like, you need to find the coach who can get through to him the way Phil Jackson did to Michael Jordan, right? Like, if you gave Aaron Rodgers a great coach, he's Michael Jordan.
Well, let me tell you this. We can sit there and we can point the finger at Aaron Rodgers all we want to. Let's keep in mind, you've lost 3 straight, right? You lost to the Rams. Ty Montgomery takes the ball out of the end zone, ends up fumbling it instead of putting the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands. Another game, Aaron Jones, he fumbles the ball. Last night, you got a 4th and 2 with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Punt.
And you elect to punt. Those are 3 separate occasions.
And never get the ball back.
That's right, of course, because their defense which is ranked 25th against the rush. Seattle ran the football and got back-to-back first downs, and that was that. Okay, so here's my point. Those are 3 separate occasions that the very person that we're talking about, and we're acting like, oh my goodness, he's not perfect. We get it. But guess what? Every single game, every single one of us wanted to say, let's see what Aaron Rodgers do. Get that man the ball because you know what's going to happen. Ty Montgomery took it out of his hands one game. Aaron Jones took it out of his hands another. Mike McCarthy took it out of his hands. You've got Aaron Rodgers with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. And think about this. You're only down 1. So at that time, what happens? If you don't get the first down, what happens is Seattle gets the ball. And even if they kick a field goal, you're still in position to win the game with a touchdown. I could understand if they were up 6, all right? And then as a result, you didn't want to go for you decide not to go. You decide not to go for it because you're concerned that they'd be in field goal position and they'd go up 9. But no, if you had stopped them and they had kicked the field goal, you're still only down 4. And that means you're in a position to go out there and win the game. How would you not go for it on a 4th and 2 if you're the Green Bay Packers? How are you Mike McCarthy, who has watched that man save your behind year after year after year, and you don't think to go for it in a 4th and 2?
Well, what you're saying is you trust your defense over Aaron Rodgers.
And you know what his excuse was? We were playing the numbers. Really? Come on now.
No, look, I'm not trying to. Look, there's enough criticism to go around for everyone in that organization. Aaron is not exempt from being criticized. But there's a reason why Tom Brady said, I believe, before they played the Green Bay Packers, that Aaron in our system would throw for 7,000 yards. Now, why was he saying that? And it isn't because he has to always be launching bombs and haymakers. Yeah. It's because the efficiency of their attack, which you don't see with Green Bay.
Obviously, Aaron isn't the problem, but clearly a coaching issue, missing a lot of pieces there. And they're 0-5 on the road. That's concerning. Can't win a game there.
Sure.